Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. I'm gonna get this thing started in 1 minute, you heard, man. Peace and blessings, beautiful people. I'm waiting for the clock to switch to 4, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started, you heard, man. To 4, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started, you heard, man. Sister Lafayette was happening. Grace and peace. Hope all is well. All right, we had that 4 right there, you heard, man. Hey, peace and blessings, beautiful people. I hope all is well. Sister Loyalty, good morning. You heard, man. I hope all is well with y'all. I have no idea how long I'm going to be before you, but there's some things that I need to get off my chest, and I feel like right now would be a perfect time. There's so many people are wondering, like, why don't I have a specific time, like every day that I come on, so that way people can actually be there. But I believe that my assignment is a little different. At the beginning, you can't just operate out of one time, because if you operate out of only one time, then you're going to be accustomed to speaking into the same people, speaking life into the same people. But at the same time, those who follow, you know what I'm saying, they come into the community with different mindsets. I appreciate you, sis. They come into the community with different mindsets, but at the same time, everyone that's here, I appreciate you, sis. Everyone that's here have basically gotten some type of understanding of how my thought process goes on specific days, because you got to understand there's a reason why. Sis, I appreciate you. You heard, man. I like what you're doing. Let me see if I can find something that the Lord. Let's go with the little TikToks. No, matter of fact, let's get the Lord some heart puffs. You heard, man. But yeah, get back to the situation at hand. So if I come on at a specific time every day, then chances are I'm going to be talking to the same people. But at the same time, I know that my particular calling, the calling on my life, is connected or geared towards the youth. But at the same time, there's people that are listening to the things that I'm talking about, and they're not telling nobody else about it. So that's the reason why I got to do things a little different. I got to basically come on at specific times. I got some sisters that's going to already be in the building that's going to be showing love or whatever the situation is. So I'm going to also go ahead and say it like this, you know, like Scripture says that ask and you shall receive, knock and the door will be open unto you. So in this ask, my only ask is, if I give you something different, if I give you, it's something the same, but it's a different way of thinking about it. You heard, man? So basically, I'm going to always use my testimony. My stories are my testimonies, and people have still yet to even figure out, well, what is it that this man is talking about? You heard me? Because there's certain strategic individuals that's in the building. There's those that's going to look at me in the lustful way, the way that they look at every other situation in their particular experience, and they're going to miss what it is that God is actually trying to show them within this particular situation. But I don't know. You heard, man. It depends on who's in the building. You heard me? Just like, for instance, anybody that's brand new, I want you to have the understanding that this is going to be an experience for you. Everybody that's already within the community, they already have that particular understanding. But since you are brand new, this is your first time coming across my live, this is going to be a different type of experience. Because what I'm here to give you the understanding of the blind spots that you have within your life right now. You heard me? Every vehicle, regardless of the make or model, has something in common. What is there something in common? Every vehicle, regardless, it has a blind spot. Every time you see me on your screen, I'm coming here to hold a conversation about one of your blind spots. Now, chances are there's going to be some of my destiny helpers that's going to come, and they're going to already understand what it is that we're talking about, and we go ahead and continue to collaborate going forward through whatever left is in this particular journey. But then when it comes to those who still don't have a intimate relationship with God, they're going to continue to miss certain things that the Lord is actually doing outside of those begging type of prayers that they've been doing. You heard me? And they're asking the Lord for something, but there's something else that they have that they don't want to have no business doing. Just like, for instance, there's some of y'all that still bottom cheering all kind of stuff for Christmas. You heard me? Buy 4-5 different presents, and they only really wanted was the iPhone. You heard me? So you went and spent all your money on this, and this, not realizing that only one item is what they wanted. You heard me? But anyway, get back to the situation at hand. My baby, this is what I need you to understand. This is going to be an experience. What I'm here to teach you is about you understanding that you are an experience. And in that experience, what you need to understand is that until you create your own identity within that relationship with God, getting your understanding of your identity through Christ, you're going to continue to be manipulated in this life. You heard me? To the point to where you come across messages like this that has the potential to change everything. You heard me? Everything in your scope. That's what we'll call it, your scope. Because you got to understand, you only see the life that you living through your mama lens, your daddy lens, and your lens. Nobody ever taught looking at certain things through the lens of the Lord. Once you start to look at things from the lens of the Lord, you then start to develop different styles or different types of wisdom. And in that wisdom, there's individuals that are going to be basically attracted to the things that you're saying. But in the midst of being attracted, just like with myself, I have the understanding that, okay, prime example, you know, like when it be dark outside or whatever, you heard, man, you got that little light on by the door, the front door that's just on outside at night. And there's those little flies that keep trying to fly straight to try and commit suicide. Keep hitting the light all night until the next thing you know, they was in the club all night, kept hitting until they knocked themselves out and then they died or whatever. So when it comes towards the calling on my life, there's a multitude of people that's going to start to come, that has been coming all this time, but strategically within them coming in other seasons, I was only seeing them through my own particular lens, through the particular lens of the people that supposedly raised me, or whatever the particulars may be. But at the same time, the scripture says we were supposed to be here with living a set apart life, not to be family. So think about how many years that you've been believing that you came to be family. How much time have you put in with that particular family? Because what I'm here to give you the understanding of is how the family happen to interlock the way that you actually think about your particular life. Now, what do I mean by that? This is what I need you to understand. The things that happen within your particular story, everything that happened in your story was to help you, not to hurt you. There was nothing that you ever went through that was here to hurt you, but there was something that's here to hurt you that's actually hurting you and you're not seeing it. What is that thing? Check this out. You believe that your heart has been broken within this experience, when in actuality, your heart was never broken. Your heart was just confused. You was trying to teach your heart how to love, when in actuality, my baby, you was doing it so wrong. Watch what I mean. In your story, you're saying that this person hurt you, that person hurt you, this person hurt you, that person hurt you. And you're seeing those individuals, because regardless of however amazing that you are, the downfall is that there's some people, in some people's story, you are the villain. And you never even probably thought about it like that. As cool as you are, there's still people that got to consider you as a villain in their particular story. But at the same time, if you believe what these other people are saying without understanding your identity, you got to understand, once you understand your identity through Christ, that means people that you already know that are struggling still with that particular relationship, you know that person still not all the way know who they are yet. So y'all are all going to hold conversation up until the level of you allowing them to understand that they won't be able to teach you nothing. They can teach you some things from the world, but in actuality, who want to learn that? That's people that's following trends. You heard me? But anyway, listen, that's what I love about, you see that little number in the corner? See how this is going to be a very intimate type of room. But watch this. As intimate as this room is right now, I'm telling you, I got something that I'm about to, my baby, I hope you got time. If you got time, I got something for you. Understand this before I get started. I love the intimate setting. I love coming to TikTok and be maybe about 5 to 7 people. That's beautiful. But watch this. As the Lord continues to speak, or the Lord go ahead and start to speak, the number is going to get bigger. But once the number gets bigger, I want y'all to understand that your first 7, the ones that's in here right now, I'm talking to y'all. I'm not talking to them, because they are those that are just at the FYP right now. They're not going to come into this room because they're in a situation that nobody can help them with but the Lord. And the Lord is about to welcome them into this particular room. So check this out. As I mentioned, y'all, my first 6, 7, I'm talking to y'all this whole time. So here's the deal. This is what I need you to understand. Although that you may still be sleeping through this experience of life, my baby, I need you to understand, if you don't have an intimate relationship with God, you're basically blowing your opportunities to experience the fullness of the Lord, or experience what he brought you down here to get you to see, or get you to change. Because you got to understand, at this point, wherever you at, you done had cheering. Think about it. You still mad at the men on the strength of you've never asked God for none of those men, and you still mad at him because it all turned out the way that it turned out, my baby. What about you? Hey, the Holy Spirit is a gentleman. He gives you free will, my baby. You're the one that made the decision to go ahead and do the things that you've done. But in the midst of it, I need you to understand that your whole life, you've been influenced to do the things that you've done. And since you've never basically made your own idea, you never made your own choices. Think about it. You only went off the choice of someone else. Somebody else committed to the thought, brought it to your attention, and you committed to it. Basically, what you're doing is you just living your particular Eve season. You heard me? Because if you think about it, in the story, Eve was an individual who was without sin. Think about it. Eve was an individual who was without sin until that voice of the serpent changed her particular ways, and she accepted that particular thought, and now the rest of her life was influenced, just like yours. until you get the understanding that, because think about it, she was without sin, making her own decisions until she went on ahead and took another thought. So think about it. As long as, because I need you to understand something, as your brother, I'm going to always be real with you. When I mention, because this is another level of it, when I mention that every man and every woman has somebody somewhere that they can still get their attention regardless of their situation, think about what we just talked about. Every particular man that you've met in your world, or male in transition is what I call it, because you are a female in transition because you don't know what your identity is. Even if it's a situation where you use social media a lot, but at the same time you still haven't created your own identity, because you're saying that you're a business owner and an entrepreneur and all this other stuff, but you're not branding self. Think about it. Everybody's supposed to be a business owner. Everybody's supposed to brand self. Think about it. You have the same name, the name of Jesus. The day that you were born as a set apart individual, but at the same time they made you choose to be family. And since you made the choice to be family, that means the family is only going to allow you to become who they were. Lord, have mercy. Did somebody catch that? They want you to only become who they were. Now, what is the capacity of that? Because you got to understand there's a multitude of voices that's actually taking place within those family members. Your family members only become your monitoring spirits. In those monitoring spirits, you made the choice, because you got to understand, they made you believe this. You made the choice to only tell certain people, because you got to understand, your mama knows something, your daddy knows something, one of your aunties know everything, that type of stuff. However you scripted that situation out. But the moral to it is that you're operating with people that don't want you to change outside of who you are today. Because as soon as you change and have a different thought process on behalf of different from what you are today or what you talk about today, then these people gonna try to get rid of you, or they're gonna make you feel bad by telling you that you too busy for us now and this and that, and you got a heart for people, but my baby, them people was never supposed to meet you if you really think about it. They call it family, but at the same time, your real family are the other chosen ones that's out there in the world, that 144,000, but not everybody going to accept their particular call. And then there's going to be some that's going to be persuaded. They even changed their screen name into Chosen this or Chosen that, when in actuality, they've never said anything on behalf of the journey that they're on. All of us are on a journey. But within the journey, if you think about it, what if it was never supposed to be about the relationships, getting into relationships with people? What if you was just supposed to go through this journey, meet people, understand people, see how, how they living, what your thought process is, what their thought process is, getting so much goodness, because I'm going to say it like this. Once I done got into my 40s, you heard, man, when it comes towards intellectual conversation, if we not having no intellectual conversation, my baby, we ain't going to be able to hold no conversation about nothing. Because at the same time, you want to try to talk to me about the stuff that's going on in the world, when in actuality, my baby, I'm not a part of the world. And with you knowing what's going on in the world, that's showing me what the whole situation is. But at the same time, you'll make yourself believe that it's still my fault. So understand what type of people I got to deal with on a day-to-day basis, you heard, man, which is cool for me, because once you continue to level up, you got to continue to level up in this life, because it's nothing but a big maze. You heard, man? It's a maze to where, let's say, all right, I'm going to start it with this. Let's say you don't believe in destiny helpers. You probably don't even know what a destiny helper is. And the reason why you don't know, there's a strategic reason why you don't know, because the people that's in your circle don't know. So ain't nobody educating nobody on nothing. You heard me? That's the whole situation. Somebody in that little circle believe that they're the smartest one, and they making sure that y'all always call that one, or there's always one that supposedly is financially solidified, or whatever the term is you want to use, and everybody call her for money, and she just got her heart for people, and she keep, she work all them hours, and y'all still don't care about none of that, and y'all still call that woman for money, and she keep giving it to y'all because y'all taught her to be loyal, but she's being loyal to the wrong thing. Just like in certain areas, you're being loyal to the wrong things as well. So what are we talking about? What I need you to understand is every new man that came into your life didn't come into your life as a new man, because he only came into your life with a distorted view of what the opposite sex really is. You wouldn't talk. Think about it like this. The things that I teach whenever it comes towards the male in transition is how I need you to understand your particular transition. Remember, they told you that little girls mature faster than boys. They told you that when you became a mother, you became a woman. When in actuality, the mindset was never where the mindset needed to be. And since the mindset was never where the mindset needed to be, then you're going to continue to go through life forgetting that at an area or at a point in your life you never grew up from. And then next thing you know, you're going to get into your 40s or to your 50s, and whatever the situation is, and the Lord's still going to be good, and he's going to still be saving people. He's going to still be carrying people. And at the same time, the people that he carrying, they still don't want to do nothing or want to have nothing to do with him. You heard me? When in actuality, the Lord is in everything, every opportunity, everything that you see on a day-to-day basis. The Lord has something to do with it, as well as the devil have something to do with it. But at the same time, if you don't believe in spiritual warfare, then my baby, it's going on, and you got the Lord up there fighting by himself, because all he needs you to do is think about it through his lens and not your own, and everything changes. You heard me? I'm about to teach you something right now that's going to be, it's going to be something like $1 billion worth of game. You heard me? I need you to understand that right now, the Lord is allowing you now. Every time I come live, I treat it like a brand new day. It's not about, I know people that's in the blocks, that's in the comments, or whatever the situation is. Some of my sisters, I love them, but at the same time, we're all meeting each other for the first time every day. You heard me? This is how I need you to see this particular journey. Every day is a new opportunity that you've never experienced. And since you've never experienced this before, this is what I need you to understand, that my baby, here's the deal. What I need you to do before I start talking on behalf of this situation, I need you to allow me into your heart. You heard me? But listen to what I'm saying. I need you to allow me into your heart, but make sure you cap off the understanding that I'm here to help you and not to hurt you. That's all I need your mindset to understand. I'm here to help you, not to hurt you. So with that being said, everything that I'm going to say next, I need you to hear the Lord on behalf of what's being said, because in that life that you're experiencing, chances are that the males in transition in that world has basically been scamming you since the very beginning. Now, chances are you may already be married. Chances are, I appreciate you, sis. Chances are you might be in a relationship. Chances are you may be playing or pretending to be single. So check this out. Remember, let me into your heart. I'm not here to hurt you. Check this out. This might sound like I got a lot of pride, but this is how you're going to see yourself once you understand your identity in Christ. I need you to really figure out why he allowed you to meet me today. You heard me? There's a reason why you're on TikTok right now at this moment. And I need you to figure out, why did the Lord allow you to meet me? Because the stuff that I'm going to talk about is going to be from a set apart mindset. The things that I'm talking about, if you can hear it with a carnal mindset, if you like to curse a lot, chances are you ain't going to really understand what I'm talking about. Now, if you listen to it with the religious mindset, there's certain things that's going to make sense, or it's going to give you a different thought. Oh, okay, I never thought about it like that. And that's all it's going to be. But for those who listen to this message with a spiritual mindset, a set apart mindset, they're going to see that I'm sitting here giving so many different puzzle pieces all at one time, and they're going to start to get frustrated because they're going to get this understanding that there's people that's not even getting it. They're not even understanding what I'm trying to help them with. I'm filling up the tanks. It's like I'm like the gas man. You heard me? I'm filling up y'all tanks from one position in one conversation to where there's a multitude of y'all that's probably trying to tried to pour from an empty cup. My baby, when was the last time somebody came into your life and spoke life into you? You heard me? You keep doing it for others. My baby, they're using you. They're drying up all your resources for you, and you still asking God for a blessing on behalf of, because you know you're going to give it away. My baby, that's not the life you came to live. You heard me? That's not the life you came to live. So watch this. I need you to figure out, why did the Lord allow you to meet me today? What I'm going to show you is something that has been a blind spot of yours for however long you've been in this experience. Okay? Watch this. So far, you have the understanding that I'm different. So far, you have the understanding that this must be one of them people that they say that gets in this world. So whatever that is, yes, this is that. Now watch this. I appreciate y'all. You heard me. Every new person that comes into your life, they come into your life to teach you something. I know that I ask the Lord for wisdom every day. I'm willing to teach you what you're not seeing as far as this journey. Because at the same time, everybody manipulating you in this world, and you cool with it. You supposedly are a little fighter. You like to punch people. You heard me, punch people in the eye or whatever. But at the same time, if you really think about it, that was never you. That was only something that you allowed the story to create within something that wasn't created for this life. Think about it. You wasn't created to live in the world. I mean, not this life, the life in the world. You was never designed to go through nothing like that you've been through. Because, my baby, I need you to understand that your story was just supposed to create a diamond, not a victim. So in your diamond process, that's what's taking place right now, your diamond process. If you see the world as hard, my baby, it's going to be hard on either side. Because at the same time, there's going to be individuals like myself that comes into your season, and you try to treat me or treat us like everybody else that's in your story, that's helping you not to accept your call from the Lord. But at the same time, you don't even think about it like that, because it's really you too. But you don't see yourself in that particular light to have that understanding, because you don't know what your identity is. You still believe you have time. Maybe eventually I'm gonna start seeking the Lord. My baby, I'm telling you, as soon as you do, as soon as you find your identity, you're going to see that how much it's been a privilege for the family to even have you in the family, and you just can't see it like that. But at the same time, watch this. Check this out. This is how I'm going to show you that the Lord has been with you all through our life. Every new person, think about it. I'm a new person in your life right now. I don't talk about nothing that everybody else talk about. You heard, man? So what the Lord is doing is, the Lord is introducing you to people who he wants you to be around. But the issue with that is you're still seeing the new people as people you would have to change to be around. And since you will have to change to be around, that's why you wouldn't really hang with those people. When in actuality, that's the real you. The person that you hide is your real you. Up here is where your real you at. But at the same time, you intimidated by the real you because you're trying to be loyal to people that don't care about you. Lord have mercy. My baby. You heard, man? Watch this. I hope you're writing this stuff down. I hope you're writing this stuff down. Watch this. What the Lord is doing right now is showing you what type of men that you need to have on your team. It's not about getting into no relationship. It's about understanding that if it was never, watch this. My thought is this. Now, people don't like to hear what I have to say sometimes, but at the same time, I got to respect on where they're at. So my thought is this. What if we was never supposed to experience a relationship until we figured out what our calling or our purpose is? Once we start to operate in that, tap into that, think about it. There's going to be people that you're going to meet that's in that world that are actually doing the things that you're actually doing. And then everything aligns. It aligns with the will of the Lord. And then next thing you know, now you have your forever person that you didn't have to go look for. You end up finding that person as you were finding you, and they was finding themselves. But at the same time, think about it. You're living a life to where you can believe that you don't have to have access to the Lord, and you can get one of his chosen sons, but you've never experienced a dude that was actually living out or finding out what their purpose is, outside of the fact of you never asking God for that particular person. So some way, somehow, in your wiring, you're making yourself believe that that was all God's fault, and certain other things were like, he made your mama die early. Your daddy was never in your life, and my baby, you have to understand, there's nothing new that's going on in the world. The world has always been the world. So as long as you're looking at this particular life through the wrong lens, my baby, you're going to be lost. And they got some of y'all that's fine in that world, you heard me, and just so lost. Think about it. There's some of y'all, matter of fact, there might be not y'all in here, but them big fine women that do certain things on social media. Like they got supposedly the cougars that be, walking around, supposedly cleaning the house with their little, with their little cheeks out or whatever the situation is. This is how I look at that. What does any of the women in her family have to look forward to? Because if you really think about it, if one of your aunties is one of those particular type of people that's on there showing her ass or whatever the situation is, supposedly call it skits, think about it. Why is that woman actually operating in this particular spirit in that skit? But at the same time, she's doing it because that'll be going too deep. You heard me. I don't want to lose you on the first day. But that's, the Lord is faithful. You heard me. If you put your time in, there's certain things that you're going to get the full understanding of as you're going through your preparation process. So watch this. Check this out. I need you to figure out what is it that the Lord is trying to do by allowing you to meet me in this particular season. What this is doing is, this is going to show you a couple of things. It's going to show you that your friends that you gave these titles to, your friends are not teaching you anything new. And you consider them as friends. You consider them as people that you like to have around your children, when in actuality, they're only going to manipulate your children at the same time they're manipulating you. Because everything in the world is about manipulation. Think about it. If you are living the worldly life right now and you don't see how you're being manipulated, and you've been being manipulated, think about it. You really be wanting respect. You be wanting certain men to bow down to the things that you say in that particular world. You got to understand, every male that you've experienced was a male in transition that didn't know who he really was, and some way, somehow, he got your attention. So you got to remember, at the very beginning, it started with your yes first, my baby. So think about it. In your story, every male that you operated with, you blame him at the end, when in actuality, it started with you. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. That's what I need you to understand. With the Lord allowing you to meet me, what he's doing is he's sending a signal to alert you that these are the type of men that you need to have in your story if you're trying to go somewhere different within this life. So, same thing with women. There's some women that I'm meeting on this journey that has titles. You heard me? Now, at a point in time, I used to say something about the titles here and there, or whatever the situation is, but I care not to go that route because I see things totally different from the way that the title looks at it. You heard me? This is what I need you to understand. Watch this. Every new person that comes into your season, as I mentioned, the Lord is trying to get you to understand that that's what type of men you need to go ahead and deal with. Now, when it comes to me, when it comes towards understanding relationships, what is the actual urgency on the relationship? Because the urgency on the relationship always makes someone put something to the side to actually try to build something else with somebody else that is going to be an expiration date along. There's going to be an expiration date that's going to happen anyway. So think about it. Every one of your relationships that you've experienced, you was married before, you was, engaged a few times, whatever the experience was, what I need you to understand is that those were specific classes that you were taking. And in those classes, chances are, those were the classes that you remember, because you got to understand, you only remember the classes that you took, but the ones that you didn't take, you don't even think about those. What do I mean? These classes that you took, that you had sex with the teacher, all of us are schools. Every individual is a school. And whatever you've learned throughout all the years that you've been here is basically what you talk about on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you think about it, if you don't talk on this particular level on a day-to-day basis, then understand where have you lowered your own value at? That's what I need you to understand. Now, there's other coaches that will never talk to you like this, but I'm not like other coaches. I have to be set apart. I have to do it this particular way. For those who hear the sound of my voice, they hear the Lord is actually speaking to them. And now I have to change my particular approach every time I come to social media, because now I get an understanding that the people that I'm actually getting a chance to meet in this particular live here, because you got to understand, you see how that number changed? There was people that was in the FYP, they decided to come into this class because they're hearing something that concerns them. So I know that every time I come here, there's 99% of the people that won't even understand what it is that I'm talking about. But at the same time, it's not for them to understand, because we're assigned to those who are assigned. We are going to have unlimited conversation, thought process with these particular individuals. And the reason why you're not having it is because you're still committed to the group of people that's not here to teach you nothing. They're here to teach you something, but you're looking at it differently. You're looking at me as I would be the problem, but they're not the problem. And that's where you're so comfortable being with. You heard me? They don't have you to stretch. They don't want you to do nothing different because the whole is family. The family don't want you to do nothing different. Whoever you consider as family, you decide to call somebody some ride or die. You heard me? That particular individual is helping you to manipulate your children. And that's what you... Let me keep going because, you know what I'm saying, I see we got some extra people in the building. Watch this. Empty Spools, is beautiful to see you. I love that you're here because this lesson right here, I want to hear your perception on it whenever we get that time to hold that conversation. I need you to understand, why did the Lord allow you to meet me today? The Lord allowed you to meet me because he's telling you through this that these are the type of men he wants you to actually start to interact with. All the other men that's not teaching you nothing was from a different season. The Lord is allowing your season to change. But at the same time, how often does this situation come about and you still either miss the boat or you don't even think about that the Lord is trying to actually give you something a different way outside of how you asking for it? Think about it. You'd probably ask the Lord for $1 million and you didn't have these destiny helpers come into your life, and you don't see them as destiny helpers. They haven't fully woken up from their, you know what I'm saying, they're basically their diamond process. So it's like everybody's trying to fit in. I never came to fit in. You can't fit me in those categories with none of your friends because that's how the Lord has it. But this is what I need you to understand. He needs you to understand that he wants you to have these type of people in your life. For you to go where you saying you want to go, these are the type of people that's going to come into your life. Now watch this. Let me look at it. Let me show you from a different angle. As I mentioned, I would always get connected. Since 2020, when I woke up from the heart attack, I continue to get connected to different title women. You heard me? Them title women, they come in, you know, they know what their particular, they know what their identity is. But watch this. With them knowing what their identity is, I had to learn that not all of them have created their identity yet, because they have created their identity in the church that they go to. And the people that's there sees them as an idol. And that's all they really wanted anyway. So there's certain ones that have certain titles, but at the same time, it's not going to be the same type of person that got that title. You heard me? Hey, the Lord is so faithful. You heard me? The Lord is so faithful. So check this out. The Lord has been sending me nothing but women with these titles, with the same title, but at the same time, there are different tiers or different particular levels to that particular title. Now, watch this. What I need you to understand is I need you to see it from the lens of the Lord. Here's how the lens of the Lord actually operates. He's allowing you to meet me. He's trying to upgrade you to understand that these are the type of men that he needs you to be around. And then he needs you to understand that it's not about getting into a relationship with one of these type of individuals. It's about getting to the understanding that these guys has the chance to potentially bring you up to where you needed to be anyway. Because you got to understand, you keep dealing with men that's only good enough for the broken you. But you don't deal with none of the men that is actually, you know what I'm saying, thinking beyond the lower level, if that makes sense. So in life, what you have to understand about this story is that the Lord is always trying to upgrade you. But at the same time, if you miss what it is that he's trying to show you, then you're going to find yourself getting in a relationship. You're going to find yourself following the same particular blueprint, because you got to understand, the family that you were created in basically has a blueprint of how all the males are raised and how all the females are raised. But at the same time, within that raising, they never taught certain things that you're experiencing present day that you've never heard of. Why have you never heard of certain things that I'll say through the particular family? Because you got to understand, there's women, there's a favorite auntie of yours, there's a favorite uncle of yours, there's a favorite sibling, or whatever the situation is. And all these individuals have something in common by trying their best to make sure that you don't accept your call from the Lord. And that's the only way I can give it to you, because if I say it another way, you're not going to catch it. Well, how do you mean that my favorite auntie is trying to keep it? Because you got to understand, your favorite auntie that doesn't have a situation that you don't have. Think about it. She don't have that full relationship with the Lord. So she only sees it a certain way, and she can influence you to see it that specific way as well. But at the same time, they're not influencing you to find your purpose. If you really think about that, which family member, which friend that they taught you how to give a title to is actually helping you to find your purpose? Or better yet, you got to understand, you have never met a man that was actually operating in seeking purpose or his calling. So what you would really be able to do with me? Because what would we talk about? Because it feel like I would be doing all the talking, because you're not actually learning nothing from your experience, and them homegirls helping you and you helping them to do the same thing. So my baby, I need you to understand that everyone is involved. You heard me? Everybody in your story is involved to keep you in the same mindset that you at right now, to the point to where you see me. Any room that you go into that you're not seeing as the blessing anymore, I don't need to be in that room. You heard me? Think about it, my baby. You was the blessing. The Lord sent his only begotten son, his only begotten daughter, however you choose to look at it. He sent you down here for a purpose. He sent you down here to help his people. And once you get that understanding that your story was all a part of your purpose, then you start to really operate out of who you was created to be. And then a lot of people that you already around, the people won't be able to hang with you no more, because they just not common. You heard me? They're not common. So watch this. I need you to think over life. I appreciate you, sis. I need you to think over life. Matter of fact, let me say it before I finish. If I gave you something so far to think about in a different way from how you was already seeing it, and you're like, man, I never thought about it like that. The only thing I ask, put hashtag. I appreciate you, sis. Put hashtag FYP in the chat and let the Lord, you know what I'm saying, do what he got to do. Because I'm just a willing vessel for him in this particular season. And outside of that, I'm teaching myself how to actually stay on one topic and continue to give you the fullness of this particular seed, of this particular download that the Lord has given me. You heard me? Check this out. I need you to figure out, why did the Lord allow you to meet me today? Because what he's trying to show you is that the men that you overlook are the men that you see. Because you got to understand, some of y'all looking at me in my flesh. My baby, this is what I need you to understand. In relationships, every male that you've met so far was a male in transition. But this is what I need you to understand. You only gave intercourse to the ones that you like back. Think about it. So the ones that you like back is the ones that you seen as people that ended up eventually hurting you, when in actuality, they was only here to help you to realize that they can only treat you how you treat your relationship with God. That's the reason why the devil has so many women confused, or so many men confused, whenever it comes towards the long distance relationship. Oh no, I can't do no long distance relationship. I wouldn't trust them because I don't trust myself. That's what y'all tell people. But y'all don't tell them that way, because you got to understand, how is it 2025 and you saying that you're the adult, but you ain't never even traveled throughout your whole life. Think about it. There's certain areas of life that you never even tapped into. There's certain areas, there's certain people that's out there who have never invested in themselves. And they're in their 40s and 50s at this particular point. What you mean you've never invested in yourself at all? So since high school, you really didn't try nothing different. And you allowed the world to actually teach you when in actuality, you've never submitted to the understanding that every day is a new process, it's a new level, or you can just stay on the same level and have the same experiences that you have. But at the same time, there's other individuals that's out there that's nothing like what you saying that you actually seeing in this life. That's the reason why I say, I hope all is well with you within whatever world you're experiencing, because not everybody experiencing the world that you experiencing, especially when they got racism in there. Like, that's what's going on in their world. Think about it. If at this present point in time in July, if you still believe there's such thing as race, if you still believe that you shouldn't invest in yourself at any point in this life, you got to understand, my baby, if you live in check to check, it's because of the people that you hang with. They all doing it too, but you're all trying to keep up with each other when in actuality, nobody even know what their identity is. There's just some people, just like last night, in a bunch of houses, they had family gatherings last night. In those family gatherings, 99% of the people that was available, because you got to understand the number always fluctuates. Some people show up, some extra people show up, or whatever the situation is, but people that then came through that, chances are 99% of them people have never created their own identity or never understood what their own identity is. And these are individuals that you have influencing you within your particular story and helping you to basically manipulate your children. But until you see it like that, my baby, you're gonna be in a situation where you're gonna believe in people, and guess what? They taught you to cry whenever they leave your mud, whenever they leave your story. Think about it like that. Everybody that you was with last night, they taught you that whenever one of them die or whatever, they taught you to cry about that. But they also taught you that everybody goes to heaven. And they also taught you that Big Mama them looking down at us and helping us along the journey and all this other stuff. So think about all those different levels of confusion. So if they can make you believe, and think about it, that's the only process the devil actually operates in. If he can make you believe a lie, my baby, you losing on that day. Think about it. How long have you been believing these lies? And nobody in your story holding conversation about it. Everybody just cool with it. You heard me? But at the same time, there's destiny helpers that's going to come into your life. And this is what the destiny helper has to do. Well, not has to do, because some of them don't be thinking that you know certain things that they don't know, but they make themselves, they try, there's a spirit that comes along that's like, it's a superior type of spirit, because you have to understand, when a woman hasn't experienced a man that's seeking his calling or purpose, then she has to try to treat all the rest of them, or treat those guys the way that she treats them in that world that she sees through her lens. So once you get the understanding, just like with my understanding of, once you identified your particular calling, purpose, identity through the Lord, you get a chance to come back and help others to do the same thing. Now watch this. Let me show you something. When a new person come into the scene to basically teach, to basically treat you as a family that you've met, because you got to understand, if me and you get close, you're going to still have to try to treat me how you treat that family that you're so close to, because they taught you how to treat other family. Think about it. Whichever family member you have right now that's making a large sum of money or whatever the deal is, y'all don't really talk to them like talking about, but that y'all tell everybody, hey, you know, that's my cousin or whatever. That's cool. But at the same time, think about it. Why you don't really go and hold some conversation with that person? Because All they do is they put their pants leg on one leg at a time, just like you. But it's about the drive and the will to get what it is that they got. And you just don't have that. And the reason why you don't have that is another area of it that I'm about to talk about in just a little bit. So check this out. What I need you to understand is, in my story gave me an only child. So let me set this up right quick. My story gave me an only child. My mom, I was raised by my grandmother. I was raised by, well, I really even wasn't raised by my mama. You heard me? Because I was raised by my grandmother because she allowed my mother to go ahead and go to work or whatever the situation is. So think about it. There's a lot of y'all that got that same particular conversation in 2025. You had that baby young, you heard, man, and your mom and them let you go and go to work or continue going through school, and they took care of the baby, when in actuality, they got some stuff that came with that you will never see because it wasn't designed for you to see it at that particular point in time. But at the same time, we may touch on a few things today, you heard me. Let's see what the situation is. So this is what I need you to understand. I was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother passed the year I got to high school. My mom passed a week before I graduated high school, and the same day my mom passed, my father gave me away. So long story short, I've been on this journey since 17 years old, but at the same time, the people that I was keeping in my story wasn't helping me to find my purpose. Think about it. Everybody that you see, everybody that you know right now in your story, who's helping you to find purpose? Besides people that you'll come find on TikTok or whatever these particular situations bring. Because I believe that when it comes to the live on Facebook and Instagram, I don't think that people really, you know what I'm saying, really in tune the way that they're in tune here on the TikTok side of things. But at the same time, this is what I need you to understand. If there's nobody helping you in your story to find your purpose, my baby, that means you got a full cast of the wrong people that's in your story. Why would the Lord send you down here to figure it out all by yourself? And think about it. You are I person. Everything you say about I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. They did that to me. They did this to me. They did that. But what about what you did to you? Think about it. In this life, that small circle of people that the family taught you was supposedly so important, these are the people that's hurting you rather than those that come in for a season to help you. Some of y'all stayed in relationships too long. And since y'all stayed in those relationships too long, that's because y'all still don't even understand what the purpose is of you and that person actually meeting. So some people got to a certain area of thought when I said, man, he sounds so prideful. No, I'm telling you, figure out why did the Lord allow for us to meet. I'm not trying to be prideful. I'm trying to show you that this is the life you supposed to be living too. But at the same time, you keep accepting less than year after year, and then you calling yourself chosen. No, my baby, that's not how that works. You came to be the change. I know that I came. I know that the Lord sent me into your life today to change you in some specific way. We may not talk about what we need to talk about right now, because I'll also say this. I'm accepting new clients. You heard me? I only focus with my other clients. I'm really full. But there's this one area where we talk about your story. I call it I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you from a set apart mindset, from the lens of the Lord. We talk about your story. You tell me what you're going through, that you're still seeing yourself as a victim in, and the Lord is going to allow me to tell it back to you with your particular with his lens rather than your own lens, because your lens is what's keeping you from seeing what it is that he's been trying to give you. There's a multitude of people that are still saying, I'm waiting to hear from the Lord. And I'm like, how you waiting to hear from the Lord? And he gave us Genesis to Revelation. You waiting to hear from the Lord. Open your Bible if you want to hear from the Lord. There's certain people that come up with all these things that's continuing to hide themselves. Just like when it comes towards relationships. Understand this. Every time you got into a relationship, you put yourself on hold the whole time to basically submit to what somebody else is doing, when in actuality, that person is not seeking their purpose. You not seeking your purpose, so y'all both living the wrong life and then have the nerve to blame each other. No, my baby, that's old school thinking. We thinking high in 2025. You heard me? These are the type of individuals that I'm looking for. I'm looking for these type of individuals that want to be business partners and collaborate, or they just want to be clients. Whichever side it is, you decide to be one of my clients before you before you leave me with that 1 hour conversation. You're going to be on a whole nother. I'm going to show you how all the people in your particular world is actually treating you wrong, and you allowing yourself to stay stuck in that, when in actuality, you just got to flip the switch and think on a higher level, and everything changes. You get your own breakthroughs. There's certain breakthroughs that happen on a day-to-day basis that nobody know about, because they're still sitting there on the carousel of life. Just Jay, I appreciate you. I hope all is well with you and your family. There's some people, too many options out there. It's your life. Yep. Too many options, but at the same time, the one option, the scripture says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else will be added. Think about it. Everything else will be added. Seek the kingdom first, and everything else will be added. So people are not listening to what their scripture is saying, but they'll say the scripture and not even really get the details, the juice, the actual wisdom out of that particular script. But anyway, check this out. Watch this. Let me remind you. Scripture says that he knew you intimately before you were born. Before he placed you in your mother's womb, he set you apart. So let's break that down. He knew you intimately. That means you already had an intimate relationship with God before you came into this world. Now, in that particular intimacy, think about it. You've never experienced intimacy with nobody in the world that you've met. You had them dudes. You all you did was manipulated someone. You manipulated a dude to marry you, and think about it. You manipulated the man into marrying you, and then you had the nerve to hyphenate your name. That relationship wasn't designed to work ever, because all you did was marry a familiar spirit that your family never told you about. So chances are you might be married right now and you're getting this information right now. But at the same time, you see me as just this red thing around the baloney, when in actuality, my baby, you're not listening to what the Lord is trying to give you in this particular season. You sitting up there making yourself believe that marriage is still good, when in actuality, no, it's just convenient, because you know what I'm saying? Y'all done got so many bills together, or whatever the situation is, and it would be difficult to you know what I'm saying? Y'all just bought the car maybe 2 years ago. They still got 3 years on none of that matters, because at the same time, you still doing everything under your jurisdiction of your will. And that don't have nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with your purpose. And at the same time, that person that you supposedly married to for the past 20 years has been actually keeping you from your purpose as well, because you doing the same thing with him. But guess what? You hear this and you have no conviction. You still believe that you got it. You ain't good with the Lord, and you'll still look at me as this little boy that don't know what the hell he talking about. And I love it like that, because at the same time, once you create your own identity, you understand that everybody not for you. You heard me? Think about it. Take what I'm saying to the Lord. Write that down on your paper. Why did the Lord let me meet this man today? If I'm saying something that's making you think about it, you're not going to be convicted, because you just in it. You heard, man? So watch this. if I'm gonna just leave it alone, because at the same time, that's the Lord's words. That is He's trying to give you understanding on something. It don't have nothing to do with me. I've never been married before. That, you know, I've never got to the point to where I actually bought somebody a ring. So I don't know what that particular feeling is. It's always a situation where as you go through life, you'll be like, have I ever met my husband, or have I ever met my wife before? Like, all the people that you've interacted with, was one of them it? And I just overlooked the particular blessing. But what is the actual purpose of having those particular thoughts, when in actuality, if we was never supposed to experience a relationship? Think about it. If you was never supposed to experience a relationship, out of the difference between you and the relationship with God, the same way Jesus had, you know what I'm saying, he started building relationships with the, you know what I'm saying, with the disciples and other people, or whatever the situation is, but his ultimate relationship was with the Lord. When has your, or how long has your ultimate relationship has been with the Lord in your particular experience? You've never been in this situation. So since you've never been in this situation, the people that you attracted never been in that situation either. And at the same time, you allowing those people to keep you from your purpose as well. You heard me? So, my baby, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you to wake up and understand what fear really means. False evidence appearing real. The devil has, as long as you've been confused, as long as you ever be confused, as long as there's always confusion, I need you to understand that the devil is present. There's certain things that you can speak that you have to understand how much power your words have, because as soon as you speak it, a test gonna follow right up. Now, are you going to take the test through your vision, or are you going to take the test through the vision of the Lord, or are you going to take the vision of the devil that you can't even see the test? Because that's how easy it is. It can have it going on. Think about it. If you're in a situation where you still smoking, you heard, man. You a chain smoker whenever it comes towards cigarettes. What I need you to do is I need you to understand that every time you light up a smoke, that's feeding the spirit. So how many packs do you smoke a week? You heard, man? How many cigarettes, how many spirits are you actually, because it's like this, you're feeding it. So on a day-to-day basis, I need you to understand what spirit in you that you keep feeding. Because there's always a certain spirit that somebody's operating out of in certain situations, but y'all don't have these conversations because you don't have nobody around you that has wisdom. And somebody that has wisdom is going to make you tussle on if you want to deal with me or not, because there's some of y'all that don't want healing. Y'all just want understanding. So that's how I had to structure my coaching around individuals that I'm going to meet on this particular journey, because there's some that just want understanding. And my baby, I'm going to get you to understanding everything that you need to understand. You heard me? But it's all about your heart, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to find out, you know what I'm saying, what your heart is saying, because the Lord has been knocking and he can't get through because you allowing that heart to be the way that heart is, when in actuality, that heart was never like that. That heart became that because you decided to look at your story from the wrong lens. Ooh, Jesus. Please tell me you wrote that down. You heard, man? Please tell me you wrote that. If you ain't wrote that down, my baby, see, that's another one of your problems right there. When a man is talking, you don't even know how to listen to that. You heard, man? You try to treat them the way you treat them other dudes that's in your store, and you got to understand, them other dudes that was in your store was just mirrors of you. My baby, I can't be a mirror of you because my mirror is way up here, and I need you to come way up here too, because I believe that I can help you to get whatever it is that your heart desires. So it's all about you trusting the Lord. You trust the Lord, and he let me be the mouthpiece on behalf of what he's trying to show you. My baby, you're going to be unstoppable. If you want that. You heard me? I love collaborating with other people. If you are in a process, if you are in season for collaboration, please reach out to me. It don't matter what your situation is. You heard me? It don't matter if the rent is past due, whatever. If you into collaborating, you heard me, reach out, because to my other business owners that's out here, have you ever thought about or allowed yourself to think about, what can I offer those that are already making that are already spending money with me? What do you have to offer those that are already spending money with you to make money, to continue to spend money with you? Don't let that go over your head. If that's a situation that you've never thought about, let's have a conversation about it. I'm gonna show you the reasons why there's certain different levels of entrepreneurship. If you just want to be that entrepreneur that go off of referrals, my baby, do your thing down there. Everybody gonna still respect you. If you on that level where, matter of fact, that's the lower level. Let's go to the high level. If you on that high level when it comes towards the thought process, you have to understand that this life was never about us. It was always about giving God the glory. So on the particular mission, on the particular journey that we get to go on together, we get the opportunity to help those to make money while they continue to spend money with us. Mind blowing. How you never thought about that? Think about it. That's that spirit of pride. You a business owner, you want to make all the money. And then whenever, you know what I'm saying, you end up going through a personal struggle, now you start to see that nobody care about your business and all this other stuff. Is because you're being seen by the wrong people, my baby. You got the wrong people giving you the wrong mindset. I am that mindset coach that can help you to get to whatever it is that you want to get to in this particular life. And at the same time, I want to know about your business too, because I talk to so many different people. I'm gonna know how to be able to bring that traffic your direction as well. So it's gonna be a hand-in-hand situation, but it's not hand-in-hand with certain entrepreneurs because they don't actually have a relationship with God. They still believe that that's their business, when in actuality, my baby, that's not your business. That's God's business that you supposedly reigning supreme over, and you making the decisions. That's why there's a struggle on behalf of that. But those that have that particular mindset that I can dig into and show them how can we go in. It's all about creating ministry. You heard me? Are you willing to create a new ministry? Think about it. Why did the Lord allow you to meet me today? You need to figure that out. Let me see. I sold meat door to door. I threw cage fights. Some brought meat for free. You got to grind, baby. The grind. You basically knew what the niche of people needed. You supplied. It's all about supply and demand. You heard me? Think about it like this. What I'm going to tell you is a business venture that I'm a part of. You already doing it for free, but you're not getting paid for it. What are we talking about? Outside of my mindset coaching, I'm connected to a company that's considered as a travel marketing company. So what is a travel marketing company? Everybody on here is considered as a content creator. There are certain content creators that look for traffic marketing companies, and they basically help them to get traffic to their particular content. So the traffic marketing company is called Cloud Boost. Cloud Boost pays me to basically help them to fulfill the contract of the content creator. So here's the job. Cloud Boost sends me 12 pieces of content into my back office. There's considered as a back office that you'll have. All you do is accept your pieces of content. It's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 5 days a week. You accept your pieces of content. All you do is open the content. You don't have to like it. You don't have to watch it. Open the content, like the content, screenshot the like, and upload that picture back to your back office. That's it. That's how the particular job works, because all we're doing is helping them to get their likes up on behalf of that particular customer. So basically, if you're into going somewhere where you've never been or nobody around you has ever been, it's even in a situation where you don't even have to put the initial deposit. You heard, man? So there's other particular levels of it to where you don't even have to use your own money. You can go ahead and see it for yourself and see how the money is coming, and then you Anyway, we'll hold conversation when you're ready to hold conversation about it. But here's the deal. Some people come into your life for certain seasons to be the change for everyone going forward. Think about it like this, fellas. At a certain point in time, through your journey, you decided to try to date up. What does that mean, date up? You are going to try to interact with a woman that you believe that's out of your category or out of your league. And some people are successful on behalf of it, but some people aren't successful. They're not seeing what it is that the Lord is actually trying to do for them in that particular situation. Well, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is, okay, so she was bad. You heard me? She was the one. Think about it like this, brother. She was the one that you would be so excited to put in the group chat with them homeboys. You heard me? They'll have to give you respect if you was to grab that particular fish and get that in the boat. You heard me? But some situations, you wasn't successful. And the only reason why you wasn't successful, what God was trying to show you was that you wasn't ready yet. Because he was trying to show you other things that you were still missing on behalf of why you decided to go and try to date out your league, when in actuality, she was never out your league, is that he was trying to show you that you need to have confidence within yourself. So you're only going to go through confidence. You're only going to go through classes that is trying to build your confidence. But if you never decided or ever seen it that way, then you're going to actually miss what the Lord is trying to give you. And you're going to only allow yourself to go through life with the lens of your mama or the lens of your daddy. And then you're going to meet a woman, you're going to probably get married to that woman, and that woman will not understand why you operate how you operate. But at the same time, that's the reason why I'm your brother. I'm going to tell you why. Watch this. There's some of you who come from, well, remember I said in my story only gave me an only child. But there's somebody in here. Matter of fact, there's someone in the FYP right now that has two brothers that's older than her. But at the same time, the two brothers that's older than her came from another man. Her mama had different baby dad, is what I'm saying. The two brothers came from, or better yet, the two sisters, however you decide to do it. One brother, one sister, whatever the situation, from one man is what I need y'all to understand. Focus on that portion. There's two kids that came from one man, and then there's another kid where she came from, it came from another man. So what happens is the little girl gets the opportunity to see all the relationships that happened before her. What am I saying when you say I don't want to lose? I don't want to lose you. What's this? You may be a little dude, or you may have wherever you at on the list. If you the third child, is what I'm saying. I need you to understand this. If you're the third child and your two older siblings came from another man, this is what happens in certain relationships that the Lord is trying to teach you. But if you miss it, just like for instance, do I have any anybody in here? Just put a one in the chat if you're the third kid and you come from a situation where your two older siblings come from a different man. Because I don't want to tell y'all about something. Okay, what's this? My baby, I'm about to set you free. Okay, I'm about to set you free. What's this? What I need you to understand is every relationship was supposed to teach us something. So it's not teach us something in a negative way for us to continue to talk about it 20, 30 years later. It was a situation that happened within the family, and the family don't talk about those particular spirits that's in that family. So what's this? With you being the third kid with two older siblings from the previous relationship, what I need you to understand is that relationship didn't work. And what's going to happen is your two siblings are either going to take, like for instance, This is how I want the ladies to understand it. Check this out. If you a woman that had 2 kids with the same man, watch this. You had 2 kids with one dude, but at the same time, your children are different on the strength of your man being different on behalf of whenever he conceived, when y'all conceived or whatnot. What do I mean by that? This is what I need you to understand. There's a situation where you caught that man whenever he was like on top of his game. Like maybe he was a business owner. Maybe he had multiple businesses at that particular point in time. And that's when y'all met. And on behalf of how he was feeling about himself is how he ended up when he did the actual, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You heard, man, you got, yeah. So how he was at that point is how the first kid is going to come out, blended with him as well as you at that particular point in time. Now, when the second kid came around, because I'm going to give you so many different thoughts, think about it like this. Your mama had 2 kids with your daddy, but at the same time, my question to you is, were they really in love, or was your mama just the woman that got pregnant at that point in time? Because you have to understand, there's a multitude of people that are having children out of wedlock present day, but at the same time, back in the day, it was considered as those shotgun weddings. If you got that woman pregnant, that means you got to marry that woman before that child get here, so that way the house can be blessed or whatever the particulars may be. So you just remembered your mom and them supposedly being married for all the years that you've been around, but you didn't know before that your daddy had all kind of women. You heard, man? Think about it. In your story, you say that your baby daddy supposedly cheated on you, but I need you to look at that through the Lord's lens. I need you to understand that that was his test to fail, that had nothing to do with you. But you applied yourself to that particular thought because the devil planted that seed and you just ran with it. All these years, you still supposedly mad at your baby daddy, and now you in your 40s. And this is something that y'all did in your late teens, early 20s. Right? People have to change. Why wouldn't you even want that person to change? Why would you even find yourself saying that that particular individual will never change? My baby, I'm here to tell you everything you feel about him is what you're feeling about yourself, because these were tests. These were classes with familiar spirits, and in those familiar spirits, they can only be a mirror of you. So you're telling people openly on behalf of what you thinking you're getting over with by saying stuff behind other people back. My baby, all you doing is telling the people about yourself, and none of them have enough wisdom to tell you, my baby, so this is how you really operate. And none of them are telling you nothing. They're allowing you to go through all these relationships. They not telling you that there's a common denominator in all your relationships. So you're still sitting with people that's actually hurting you rather than those that been trying to help you. Talk to me, y'all. Is anybody learning something? Because you got to understand, my baby, you've been living the life of a lie. You heard, man? Soft and fluffy, what's happening? You've been living the life of a lie all this time because you don't see certain people as a blessing. Everybody in your story is a blessing. You are a blessing in your particular story, but you don't see yourself as a particular blessing. And as long as you don't see yourself as a blessing, nobody else gonna see you as a blessing either. You heard, man? Think about it. Some people come into your life in certain seasons to be the change for everyone going forward. Queen Fire, it's beautiful to see you. No, not Queen Fire, Queen Fitness. It's beautiful to see you. For those of you who still see yourself as the victim in your story, I need you to understand that you was never a victim. To go into the second portion of the scripture, it says that he knew you intimately before you were born. Before he placed you in your mother's womb, he set you apart. In the intimate relationship, you told God that regardless of what these people here on earth would try to do to you, you still came to be the change. Yeah, you don't remember telling them that. But if you also think about it, y'all solidified that understanding. And before he placed you in your mother's womb, he set you apart before placement. So you was already set apart before you even got in your mama womb. But nobody teaching you this. Nobody's talking to you about this. You came to live a set apart life. You never came to blend in. You never came to life is like Tetris, when you fit in, you disappear. You didn't come to disappear. Think about it. To my 70s and 60s and 50s babies, and some of my 80s babies too. We came from a family that told us to make sure that we don't be in the room whenever grown folks are talking. So think about the stuff that they was talking about that they didn't want us to know, when in actuality, the stuff that they wanted us to know, they was only manipulating us into understanding. So if you think about it, they gave off the perception that slavery was over with, when in actuality, slavery's still going on in 2025, because they're limiting the potential of the next generation on the strength of them living a lie from those that was telling them what they knew at that particular point in time. You heard me? Think about it. Your heart doesn't know what to love because you didn't think about it. They taught you how to break your own heart and then call that life. My baby, that's not the life you were supposed to live. You came to be the change. Edgar, it's beautiful to see it. You came to be the change of this particular family. But they taught you to break your own heart. Think about it. There's nobody that broke your heart on this journey but you, because you're still choosing not to have the relationship with him. And since you don't want the relationship with him, you're going to live a life only focused on wanting kingdom treatment, but don't want the kingdom. You want a male. Think about it. Your mindset is this: there's no good men that's left in the world. My baby, you're right. There is no men that's in the world. There's males in transition in the world, just like there's females in transition that's in the world. So those are like the bottom feeders. You heard, man? The ones that just stay stuck to the glass. Or better yet, those are the ones that they don't soar with the eagles. They like to be with the chickens and the ducks. Those type of birds that got to fly when they have to, and then that's it. They're coming right back down. They don't want to cause no trouble. They just want to eat and go to sleep. Think about it. How many people in that small circle just want to eat and go to sleep? They don't want to come and be the change. They don't want to change the particular family. They just want to stay stuck on the carousel their whole lives, allowing them to think about it. They're on the carousel holding their own string, going around in the circle of life. Certain people come into your life in certain seasons to be the change for everyone going forward. If you really think about it, the Lord has to be pleased with you within whatever decisions that you're currently making, because for him to allow you to meet me on this day with the mindset that I can bring to your, think about it, I can bring a mindset to your corporation. Think about it. You don't even have to be a business owner right now, but you're in a corporation. I have the mindset to bring into your corporation to help to basically create positive change on the first day. You heard me? I'm coming to be an asset in your life, but at the same time, I know not everybody's going to actually accept me into their world, because I believe that there was something that was said that Spools she just got her confirmation. That's the reason why she acting high. And hey, my baby, I already see it. For my ladies that's out here, this is what I need y'all to understand. I have a I have a coaching suggestion for you. You heard me. You might be an individual that already have a therapist, and I'm not going to step on the toes of the therapist because, at least you holding conversation with somebody. But this is what I need you to understand. Chances are you have that therapist right now, and that therapist don't even know that you coming to that class or coming to that meeting as the wrong individual. Think about it. You've been operating out of this you for however long, to the point to where this is an avatar of yourself, but not actually your real self that's actually operating in this particular world. But the Lord allows me to speak to the particular need. So as I mentioned, I'm not trying to step on no toes of your therapist. What I'm trying to show you is I can give you that kingdom treatment that you're actually seeking. You heard me? You're seeking the kingdom or the kingdom treatment, but there's nobody helping you to understand what the Lord is actually doing from season to season in your particular life. You heard me? Think about it. Everybody that you know, they don't know that you're operating out of the wrong you. They don't know that you're hiding your identity from the world. Who you hide, the you that you hide is your real self. And your real self is way up here with everybody else. You heard me? But you got to be willing. You got to be willing to change the narrative. Understand that the people, I'm telling you, the Lord sent me in here to be the change of your narrative on this first day. If you decide to keep the same people in your life, I have to be okay with that. You heard me? If me and you don't have a business conversation, if you don't want to be one of my clients, my baby, I'll never judge you, because at the same time, I know how strong that spirit is for some of y'all. You heard me? That spirit going to continue to make you talk yourself out of every blessing that comes to you, because that's how your family did it. Oh, we don't build businesses in this family. Okay. And then you got to watch these people, especially those of y'all that's promoting lust. I want to talk with y'all too, because my baby, you already got the following. Hey, I'm going to give you the seeds and you're going to produce the seeds, and let's make this money. Let's help these people make this money too. Everybody eats. Think about it. If it was ever a situation like somebody go and win the lottery and everybody eats, that's what I'm talking about. That type of situation. You can become that particular individual where, just like, for instance, just like what I tell with my little cousins. I got some little cousins, or better yet, some people that's in your store that got different baby mamas or whatever the deal is. My mindset is to bring it to his attention that, hey, look, let's go ahead and get this, get this paper together. But at the same time, we need to go ahead and put your baby mamas on too. Because the downfall is the baby mama supposed to go put the man on child support for her benefit, on behalf of her not wanting nothing extra out of this life. Think about it. You got pregnant in your 20s. Nobody told you that you was about to piss away 10 years. So in the midst of you pissing away 10 years, you supposedly find yourself in court putting a man on child support because what? You still had another 5 to 6 years to burn away anyway. But these are things that the family never held no conversation with. And I get the opportunity to give people that particular insight whenever it comes towards life. We can be the change to where, like, for instance, there are certain people that they want it. It's just that they have to be influenced by it. And then there's those that just don't want it. And they're just okay with thinking that everything is a scam outside of the 9 to 5 that they show up to faithfully. That's the biggest scam. Think about it. These people are taking 160 of your hours during the month. And then with the rest of the time that you have, which is double the portion, because there's 8, 8, 8. How do you go? Yeah, 8, 8, 8. Think about it. You got 24 hours in a day. On the 16, you too tired to do anything that's going according to your purpose. But on the 8, you show up early, and you've been showing up, and it's hard for you to leave because they made it so comfortable, And think about the things that you say. My baby, that's going to be a blessing and a curse in your life, because what you do with one thing, you do with everything. So here's the deal. Some people come into your life for certain seasons to be the change for everyone going forward. There's people that came into my life that didn't understand that I knew before they even came that I'm here to teach as well as here to be a student of. But in the midst of it, there's always something extra that gets added to the concept of the meeting. Because understand, you're not supposed to, think about it, you was never supposed to have sex before marriage. So if you think about the encounters that you had sex with, that means that encounter wasn't supposed to be what it's supposed to be. But think about all the stuff that y'all have done while y'all knew each other, when in actuality, it wasn't designed for it to work, because one or two of the people wasn't ready to do or live the life according to the Bible and not have sex before marriage. So that means neither party was actually different in that particular conclusion, because in that world, one of these people still have to be the one that's getting blamed for the situation, when in actuality, emotions aren't real. So it's all about getting the concept of understanding how there were parts you could have got emotional about. There were parts that could have changed the dynamic going forward in life. There were parts that happened that basically needed you to remember certain classes that you took before, because sometimes it'll be a situation where you'll be in a mix with someone new, but that particular person sounds like someone of old. You heard me? Like, say for instance, fellas, you know what I'm saying, you haven't been with let's say like for instance, your mom is your everything. There's certain things that woman gonna say that sound like your mama that's gonna make you be like, oh, okay, yeah. Obviously, you know what I'm saying, I need to be right here, because every man want a woman like his mama in that particular way, that particular situation. So that's a set of men that some women won't have a chance to actually interact with, because they don't have the spirit, the motherly spirit, is what I'm saying. There's some women that's out here that has that motherly spirit that came from a strong woman, but that motherly spirit is going to be a blessing and a curse until you understand what type of power that motherly spirit has. Because the motherly spirit is always going to attract the weak. Think about it. You got that motherly spirit, and the man is actually seeing you as his mama, so his mama makes him weak. So in the midst of him being weak, that also means that as long as his mama is still available, you will never be number one in his story. You heard, man? You can think about it. There's so many women. Watch this. Let me show you how. There's so many women that still believe that they can raise a little boy or raise a little boy into a man. It's not designed like that, because as you can see, when you meet a man and his mama is his girlfriend, then you're not going to be number one, my baby, until that woman die. But at the same time, who will he become once his mother is no longer here? Because there's certain dudes in the present day, they either just lost their mother or they just lost their ex-wife. Just lost their wife. And these dudes are actually operating out of a spirit of basically finding somebody that they can prey, PREYING, on the emotion of, on behalf of their story, on behalf of what they're just going through. So that was my situation whenever I was at college, because my mama passed a week before I graduated high school, and then my family sent me to college. And in my college years, all 4 of my college years, I was operating out of the spirit of manipulation, because I was never taught how to grieve that particular death, that particular situation. Think about it, I've been 17 and none of my main characters going there. Got some of y'all that's in y'all 60s, Big Mama still here and all this. So I'm way ahead of the game for some people. I had to grow up earlier than the people that was actually, just like for instance, watch this. It happened with my mother at 17. So think about what you was doing at 17. Think about the people that were still in the story at when you were 17. So although I didn't have a child until 10 years later or 11 years later, well, yeah, you can say 10 years later because it happened in '01. And then my son, you know what I'm saying, he was conceived in 2011. So 10 years without my mother, I found myself, you know what I'm saying, becoming a father. But the journey was supposed to teach me way much more if I wouldn't have came with the understanding that I needed to be family. You heard me? You only look like them people, but you came to be the change. Are you willing to step into that type of understanding? Or are you going to just sit on the bench knowing that you're gifted, knowing that you have these different gifts, but you're not realizing that you're only using your gifts for the wrong kingdom? You heard me? My mom moved out. I'm going to leave that alone. Some people come into your life in certain seasons to be the change for everyone going forward. You heard me? What this is teaching you, fellas, what I need you to grasp from this is the homeboys that you consider as homeboys. I don't know how long you've been on this day. You heard me? So in the midst of us holding conversation, how many types of conversations do you actually get like that from your homeboys? It be plenty of times when I'm out and about and I exchange phone numbers with another brother or basically exchange social media information or whatever the deal is. I never hear from them because I'm not going to reach out to them first. I know who I was when they met me. They had the experience that they had when they first met me is a reason why we end up exchanging information. But at the same time, I also had to learn that instead of me trying to force myself or force what the Lord is saying on people, I have to understand that that other world is more important to them in this particular point in time. But for those who are they tired of being sick and tired, you heard me, they hanging with them same dudes ain't helping them, you know what I'm saying, get to where they, think about it. Why have so many men that's on your team or dudes that you actually know and none of them helping you to change your family? Or females, you got all these women that became mothers. They done have, you know, then got married and had multiple husbands and all this other stuff, but they never came to be the change of their family. They only came to be self-sufficient or whatever that's considered as. Look at is this what you think your purpose is? You came here to get married a few times, or whatever the situation is, whatever story that you're telling. Let's say you wake up in heaven tomorrow and someone asks, what did you do with your time on earth? And then you start telling your story. Because why I'm bringing this up is I want you to realize something. Think about the family that you decided to call family. What is the generational curse in that family? The generational curse in that family is that y'all all basically manipulating each other into allowing the other person that's still alive to tell your story for you. Y'all are all manipulating each other to basically allow whoever else is living to continue to tell your story for you. Understand what I'm talking about. Whoever your last funeral was, Big Mama passed, y'all telling her story because Big Mama didn't tell her story. And the reason why Big Mama didn't tell her story is because she was operating out of the spirit of be heard and not seen. Just like there's a lot of you women that's still operating out of that spirit of be heard but not seen. And that's the reason why you won't accept your call from the Lord and you won't allow me to actually be your coach to speak this type of stuff into you. You rather hang with them dudes that don't know how to even speak life into you. So you basically just laying up with another familiar spirit, and eventually you're going to get tired, and then you're going to blame him again, and then you're going to wake up, and now you're going to be on the backside of 40, and you're going to be talking about how the Lord is so faithful to you and all this other stuff, but you're still not operating out of your purpose. So at what point that's going to start? How many people got to continue to come into your life and you still stay the same? Come on, my baby. I can't be that person. I'm going to tell you, if that fits your bill right now, my baby, it's only a short amount of time that we actually going to be in communication, because at the same time, my friends are coming here to push me. We going somewhere. We not sitting up here with these friends that just want to chill on the weekends. You heard me? We want to build something special. Let's find ourselves creating something to where it's like we on tour. You heard me? We picked eight to 16 different cities, and that's all we doing all year. We making money, helping people make money, and we building mindsets, we building ministry, and it's gonna just be what it is, because the Lord will continue to provide. And as long as we keep him first, as it says, seek ye the kingdom of God, and everything else will be added. So that you want the everything else, but you don't want to seek the kingdom. No, you can't. It's not going to work like that. I'm telling you, it's not going to work like that. You just got a different lens on how you looking at it. But at the same time, your blessing is just right around the other thought. It's just another thought that you got to have. You heard me? So watch this. Some people come into your life in certain seasons to be the change for everyone going forward. There was women that came into my life in seasons, but the season that I'm in now, they're not used of a man actually understanding that he has value as well. So in a situation that you meet someone that comes to be the change, because you got to understand, I'm gonna meet a lot of different people on this particular journey. I meet people that come to be the change, but at the same time, they're coming also emotional, and they're not hearing what the Lord is speaking through me, that emotions aren't real. Emotions are just a check engine light alerting you on behalf of something else you haven't fully given over to God. So that's the only purpose that I have in these people's lives. But at the same time, you got to remember, I still have to be blamed for not being aligned with their particular will, if that makes sense. Once you start to see yourself in this particular light, see yourself aligning yourself with the will of God, the Lord is going to be so faithful. He's going to show you certain things and help you to help others. But at the same time, if they're seeing it through their lens, they're going to actually miss what he's trying to do. Now, with me having that understanding as a man, it's like I put women into confusion, when in actuality, I'm not here to confuse. I'm here to show you that there's other type of men that's here. As long as it's confusing, I need you to, every time you get confused about something, know that the devil is present. But in that, I need you to bring what we talking about back to the Lord and let him give you the understanding. Since I'm just the messenger, you don't want to hear from me, which is cool. But at the same time, in the midst of it, there's going to be other individuals that's going to come, that's going to feel that same way. And then there's going to be a button type of thing, because one is revealing something to the other. It's supposed to be help. Okay, I remember this particular class. In this class, that was a negative for my class, but may have been a positive for her class or his class. And then we'll get to understand, okay, I remember passing this test because this particular spirit gave me this on behalf of that lesson. So everything is supposed to be an exchange type of thing. See where you can fit someone into your life. It's not about being in no relationship. You want him to shut it all down. You don't want him to talk to nobody else. You don't want to talk to nobody else, but you strategically want to talk to somebody else because you post, and you basically, you still operate in lust on the strategic, you heard, man. And you don't want nobody to even know that portion of you still exists. But at the same time, you're hiding it because that's where your real you is, unless you're trying to seek that particular identity. But anyway, hey, I hope that there was something that was said. I got some more stuff I wanted to talk to, but I'm going to leave that alone because I just wanted to come and introduce myself to you. You heard, man. I don't know what it is that you've been experiencing, but at the same time, you haven't been experiencing it alone. And the issue is the people that you have in your circle, they don't have no wisdom. So the Lord is inviting me into your season that if you choose, if you decide, reach out to me so that way I can send you my coaching information. Or better yet, just drop your email address in my chat in my inbox, and I'll shoot you the information on behalf of that, and then we'll have a conversation, because it's all about understanding that it might not even be your season right now. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 talks about how there's a time and a season for everything under heaven. So it might not be in your season, but at the same time, I know I done planted so many different seeds in you that I'm going to see you again. You heard, man? But at the same time, feel free to reach out. You heard, man? We'll hold conversation. We'll see what we can get, especially if you're on some business type stuff. If you're on some collaborating, hey, I still need to hear about your business, even if you're not into collaborating. You heard, man? 'Cause that way I know how to point people, because I'm all about everybody else. You heard, man? I'm a certain type of content creator. You heard, man? I talk about things that I feel like need to be discussed. You heard, man? But not everybody's talking about these things. And if you know someone that is, please put their particular page in my inbox, because I would love to be able to support this type of information, because it's different, it's unique, and I'm going to be here to show you that you are different as well as unique. But as long as you continue to deal with people that is helping you to neutralize your uniqueness, my baby, you're not going to experience the life that the Lord actually sent you down here to live. But anyway, hey, I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate everything. You heard, man? Y'all be safe. And we should see each other soon. God bless.